this is going to be your October 2018 general reading. And as usual, I'm going to do an 11 card Celtic cross spread for you, along with possibly some clarifiers. I hope you guys are well. Happy autumn, you guys. This is my favorite season, and happy Halloween as well. Looks like some of these are upside down. So this is for Aries rising, Aries sun, Aries moon, and Aries best highest good, along with whatever you most need to hear about concerning October. Well, this is always the most boring part, so if you want to, go ahead and feel free to skip ahead. Okay, and as a special treat, I was thinking of using a different deck this month for clarifiers. I have a very special deck that is extremely rare. I've never seen it in stores ever. It was actually given to me by the woman who created it. Her name is Marlena Rudzinski, and her deck is called the Flower Speaks deck. Okay. Aries for October 2018. Okay. I'm going to pick the cards and then I'll show them all to you and then I'll get started. Nice. Ooh. Interesting, you guys. Okay. Here are your 11 cards. Your central experience for the month of October is strength. Your countering situation to that or challenge is the 5 of Pentacles. What is helping you is the Ace of Wands. At the core of your being, you have the King of Wands. In your recent past, you have Temperance. Your best possible outcome is the Star. Coming up in the near future is the 5 of Swords. I'm definitely going to pick a couple of clarifiers to go with this, or hopefully just one clarifier. You right now are the 10 of Wands. In your surroundings, you have the 2 of Swords. Your fear, I'm guessing, is the 5 of Wands. And your general outcome is one of your major arcana cards, which is the Emperor. So let me pick your clarifiers and then I'll start your reading. This is the deck I was talking about. This is the back side of the deck. And oh, look at what you have on the bottom of the deck, the star. In this card, in this deck, it's called the Shooting Star. This is an extremely beautiful deck that combines flower essences with animal totems and with astrology. So, yeah, that's pretty powerful, you guys. You wishing upon a star, have great hopes for something new that you're starting. Okay, let me pick your clarifiers. Okay. I want to know what that is. Okay. Sorry, this is so boring, you guys. If you're even still here. Okay. I want to see what's going on with this star, since you had the star come up twice. Wow. Okay. By the way, the creator of this deck, Marlena Rudzinski, she was an Aries, or is an Aries. I'm sure she's still alive. She was an Aries with a Pisces moon, and you have one of her Aries cards in here that she considered an Aries, actually two of them. You have two Emperors, and you had two stars, so seems as though it's a huge positive cycle for you at this time. So let's get started. I'm going to try to be efficient about this without rambling too much. So your central experience for the month of October is to be strong, to be fully yourself, to know exactly what you want and to know what to do. And also to sustain your energy. I'm getting that maybe in the past you've had a lack of energy, or your energy has been lagging a little bit, in which case I feel as though your energy is returning, or you excuse me, you have more energy than usual in order to sustain any actions that you're trying to take at this time, or to sustain a certain way of behaving without necessarily letting others trot upon you. Not that normally you guys let people do that sort of thing, but to stay strong, to stay balanced, to behave in your best possible way in order to get the best possible results. So your challenge to that is feeling left out, feeling as though you don't have enough, This could be not having enough money, not having enough love, not having enough attention, not having what you need. Something. I'm going to show you the 2 clarifiers that came with it. You have Truth, which is the Emperor card in this deck. And you have Leaves, which is ruled by Mercury and has to do with communication. So I'm feeling as though either you have not been communicating as directly as you should about perhaps feeling as though you are left out or you don't have enough. Maybe you're putting on a brave face where you're pretending that everything is fine when in actuality you have something going on where you feel as though you're not being acknowledged or you're not getting what you need. This can also be that you are not getting enough communication or honesty from either situations that you're in or particular people. Or I feel as though you have possibly been communicating your truth, but for whatever reasons people aren't hearing it. And so you feel cast out somehow, like you're not being listened to or understood or even believed. I'm getting something in here about you've been trying to get the attention of somebody or a situation with something that you feel is possibly not right or that needs to be dealt with, but the people are not listening to you or the situation is not listening to you. Or perhaps you're struggling with feelings of that they don't believe you, and that is actually making you somewhat aggravated or angry about the fact that they're not believing you in what you've perceived or what you're saying. Okay, so what is helping you is the Ace of Wands. This is a brand new beginning, especially with action steps or setting something into motion, putting something into action, starting a new path in your life, starting a new way. Yes, this is what's helping you. Very good. This reminds me of you, actually, the Ace of Wands. This is the very beginning of action. It's very cardinal fire energy here. So go for it. This is the go for it card. This card literally means go for it. Do it. Don't let anything stop you. Just do it. Don't overthink things too much. If there is some kind of a situation you've been in where there's just unnecessary fighting or disagreements or people aren't seeing eye to eye, and you have felt frustrated about laying down your boundaries on who you are or what you want to do or making sure that you're getting truth from people, I feel as though that situation is falling away, where it's time to take your center of focus off of that and onto instead a new beginning that you would like to get started with instead. So at your core, you have another Leo card, which is the King of Wands. Are you dealing with a Leo somehow? If you are dealing with a Leo, I don't see any problems with this Leo. If anything, this Leo is a really good ally for you to have at this time, or this energy is a good ally for you to have at this time. You have the card that normally is the World in most tarot decks, but in this one it's called Globe Thistle, and it's oneness. And so what I'm getting is you have done a lot of work, especially possibly for a long period of time, as in years. Years of work in refining who you are, how you behave, what you have accomplished for yourself, your self-esteem, your ability to lead, your ability to organize, your ability to stand up for yourself and stand up for things that you believe in, or and also a lot of this has to do with how you behave. You know, fixed fire, which is Leo, when it's in its balanced state, it's all about taming your own inner dragon. If you look at your 2 Leo cards you have in here, you can clearly see what I'm talking about. The King of Wands has a dragon. His dragon is kept under check. His dragon is okay with this. His dragon isn't mad at the king. The dragon is actually an aspect of the king. This is his, what people would call your base animalistic, instinctual nature. And same thing with Lady Strength. She is either opening the lion's mouth or gently closing the lion's mouth. Both of these Leo cards, the people in them, the king and Lady Strength herself, they have respect for their beast nature. He has respect for his dragon. She has respect for her lion. And because they have respect for that part of their selves, the lion and the dragon cooperates with them. And so this is about taming your beast, as in especially in how you behave or how you come across to others, how you lead others, or how you organize things. In order to gain the respect of other people, it means keeping your behavior under control, as in not going off on people unnecessarily, not losing your temper, not trying to control anything, not trying to be overly bossy or demanding or controlling of other people. This is also the opposite aspect of this lesson too, which is learning how to stand up for yourself, learning how to speak up, learning how to maintain your boundaries. It's all about a proper balance of respect for yourself and respect for others. And when you have mastered this energy, it causes other people to automatically respect you. Because you know how to get things done, you know how to assert yourself, and you know how to make other people feel important as well. And you know how important you are, as well as honoring others. So this is your central experience for this month. And then this is what you have realized you have mastered, or come as close to mastering something that a human being can get. You have been working on everything that I just mentioned for a long time now, and I feel as though now you feel as though you have finally stabilized this energy, or you have finally learned it all the way, and you are able to sustain this energy. You have graduated. You have learned everything you needed to learn about this. And so now you're feeling strong. You're feeling assertive, strong, warm, caring. You're acting in your best behavior. And you most certainly know how to stick up for yourself or maintain your own personal power in the best possible way. So in the recent past, you've had to stay optimistic and balanced about a new potential or seed you wanted to plant, which is this card. It's the seed card. This is a Saturn card. So this seed that you would like to plant, that you would like to implement, the Ace of Wands, which is helping you to move towards this thing, seems as though you have been planning this for a while, or you've been thinking about it for a while. And not only that, this seed that you would like to plant or thing you would like to implement, you have very long-term goals for this thing. This may be something that will carry you on for years in the future with this project or this seed that you would like to start. You're seeing you've been trying to stay positive and balanced and mellow or calm about this seed. You've been trying not to overestimate yourself or underestimate yourself. You've been trying to realize that this thing is going to take some time, and it's just a matter of blending this old that you're getting away from in with the new which is coming. And so that's where you've been. This is interesting. Your best possible outcome is the Star, which is about following your dreams. This is an Aquarian card, by the way. This has to do with hopes, dreams, and wishes for the future. For yourself, this also has to do with spirituality, as in paying attention to your spiritual self as in the things that really matter to your soul. If you notice, obviously, I'm sure you've noticed, she's naked. She doesn't have clothes on. The only objects that she possesses are the two vases or two vessels that she is pouring. In this card, she's pouring water and coins and shiny gold bits out of it. She's pouring magic out of it. She receives magic from the universe, which is the bird and the star above her head. She receives inspiration, and then she pours the inspiration into the world. And so this is about following your higher path or following your dearest dreams to your soul. This doesn't necessarily have to do with material things or possessions or the little things in life. This has to do with the bigger, more spiritual things in life. But above all else, your best possible outcome is to have hope, faith, optimism about what you're doing and what you would like to do. I feel as though you have a grand idea or a grand hope or a wish for the future for yourself. And so this may have something to do with your new beginning that you would like to get started, your seed that you've been thinking about planting or have already planted, and this new path of action you're taking. Now that you've fully mastered yourself or have walked the path of self-mastery with those Leo cards. So your two clarifiers that came with this are initiation, which normally in the tarot deck, that's the devil. I love this deck because I love this version of the devil card. You notice there is no devil in here whatsoever. And she likened this to an Aries card, even though it's ruled by Saturn or ruled by Capricorn. Because of the baby, you guys represent the newborn or the new path or the new baby being born. The brand new soul. Acceptance is all about accepting all of yourself, especially the sides of yourself that you have a very hard time looking at, which is reminding me of the devil card. But in this case, it's a more positive version of that card, which says initiation. So what I'm getting here is that you're wanting a spiritual rebirth so that you can cast off any baggage that you're carrying from your spirit or your soul that's stopping you from being able to carry out what you truly want to carry out. A lot of this has to do with accepting the darker sides of your nature, or what people consider the darker sides of your nature. This is really about acknowledging your shadow or acknowledging the parts of yourself that perhaps you suppress or you have tried to drown out or silence. But these things can't be silenced for long periods of time because they always want to be dealt with. And until you really deal with them, you can't really move forward in your life, especially with your spiritual growth. If you can't look at your shadow, which holds you back from fully knowing all of yourself, then you can't really move forward in life on a material plane either, because you're carrying baggage with you, or you're carrying unacknowledged aspects of yourself with you. And so have compassion for yourself, have empathy for yourself. Really look at the things in your own nature that feel as though they are holding you back, or parts of your own nature that need to be dealt with and accepted and released in order for you to be able to move on. These can be negative thoughts, negative patterns in your life that sometimes we assign our own negativity or our own shadows with situations that are doing these things to us, when really we're attracting those situations to ourselves because there's something in us that needs to be healed or needs to be looked at or accepted. I'm getting something in here about the fighting in the past on this Five of Swords. Seems as though you're coming out of some kind of a conflict, or you're learning how to release conflict, but something about the conflict that has been brought into your life is because of these unacknowledged parts of yourselves that need to be looked at and released and accepted with compassion. And if you can go with your best possible outcome, which is to accept these things and to learn from them and move on from them and accept them, you will fully be on your spiritual path. You will fully feel alive, inspired, and you will be able to move forward in the best possible way. So that's your best possible outcome. Coming up, you have the Five of Swords again. This has been coming up for you guys quite a bit over the past month or two, I believe. I don't know exactly what you're going through. You know more than me, right? It may have something to do with power and control issues. Either you've been having to deal with some kind of a controlling person who wants to dominate, show their power over you, or you're having to battle with certain aspects of your own nature that show this sort of behavior or this sort of instinct. Because you have mastered how you behave, this is either an external person or situation where you feel as though they are misusing their power. They are not keeping everyone's needs in mind. This has nothing to do with cooperation. This is all about power and control issues, dominance and fighting and conflict and possible, this is nasty kind of conflict. This isn't challenging. You have two fives in here. You have the Five of Wands and the Five of Swords. The Five of Wands is a lesser kind of conflict because it more has to do with competition and ego battles. It's more petty and it's not as harsh or as painful. But the Five of Swords is downright verbal cruelty, cruelty with words, or even manipulation, wanting to manipulate people either through misinformation or the wrong information, or just wants to stir up trouble with the things that they say in order to get to a place of authority or false authority. It could be that this not only may be some kind of external person or situation you're having to deal with in possibly speaking up. Your challenge this month in October may be that you're just starting to get extremely frustrated and realizing that perhaps you just need to let go of the situation altogether and just start over, because you've been trying to speak about this. Whatever this is, it's been hovering around you for quite some time now, along with the Five of Wands. And I feel as though you've been trying to bring this to people's attention, but for whatever reasons, nothing's really being done about it, or people aren't listening to you, or people are actually not even believing you. And so just be strong in yourself. Don't lose your composure or your temper. I feel as though you've been making a great effort towards not losing your composure and by maintaining your cool, so that you can be mature about this instead of allowing it to get to you too much, as well as learning how to assert yourself concerning things like this. But this is still hovering around, and the fact that you have this going on outside of yourself, this may actually be stemming from something inside of yourself, either from past experiences you've had with other people that are like this, possibly a parent or a family member, or some kind of energy you had to deal with at a very young age, or something that you were taught to behave like in self-defense or defense against something. And so you need to look at where this is coming from internally in your spirit, on where this could possibly be stemming from and why this is hovering around you so much. This may be not just something that you are frustrated by nothing really happening on the external level with this, but something about this is being brought about by something within you. So remember to be compassionate of yourself. There may be some things you have to look at that are very hard to look at. But if you can get through this period as your best possible outcome and really look at this clearly, you will be able to move on in the best possible way and not necessarily bring this in anymore. Not to this degree anyway. So your two clarifiers with the Five of Swords. And remember, this is your near future that's coming up. You are getting the distinct psychic, intuitive message directly from your soul that this needs to end. Either you need to leave the situation entirely, get rid of the people entirely, whatever this is. If this has to do with something going on at your job, you may need to just leave your job or start a new job or get a new job. Whatever this is that you're realizing that it needs to end. You're done with this. It's not able to be solved. It's not able to be worked with. You've tried your best to make it work or to bring it to people's attention or to do something good about it, but it just seems as though it's not really going to be resolved. And so your best possible thing would just to get away from it entirely, which Black Iris here is death. And Water Lily here is the High Priestess. So your intuition, the High Priestess, is telling you it's time to end this. Whether it's going to end externally or not, it doesn't matter. You need to end it. So you need to either walk away, let it go, completely relinquish this, get rid of it somehow. I know it's not that easy. You know, this could be anything. This, you know more than me. This could be a job. This could be a relationship. This could be a number of different things. This could be a living situation. You know more than me on what this is, but it doesn't seem to be changing. It doesn't seem to be, no matter what you do about this, it doesn't seem to be getting better. And you know this, but it is causing you a great deal of frustration. Okay, so you right now, this makes sense to me, are the Ten of Wands, which is total exhaustion. This is the very ending of something. I'm really hoping that this is the ending of frustration over people not listening to you about cruelty and conflict and fighting. You want this to be over with, but even though it is ending, it's exhausting you. This is not a good ending. And your clarifier with this is inner hearing. This is the Hierophant in this deck, which is the speaker of ageless wisdom, or just represents wisdom, period. Which is your own inner self. This is your intuition. This is your higher self speaking to you. You know that this needs to end. You know that you can't continue with this. Otherwise, you may even suffer back problems or neck and upper back shoulder problems, which oftentimes has to do with shouldering too much responsibility or shouldering too much for the sake of other people or for situations without getting much help. And so you know that this needs to end. You can't continue to do this. If you do, you're going to have some kind of a breakdown, especially physically. I'm getting total exhaustion, total, you don't even know if you can end this or finish this off or deal with this any longer. Otherwise, you may suffer physically or have health problems because of this. So you know right now that this needs to end and that you need to lay those wands down and start with a completely new thing that inspires you and makes you happy, that you've been thinking about starting in the past. So in your surroundings, you have the Two of Swords. So you're undecided about something in your surroundings. Maybe you're trying to hang on, maybe a part of you is trying to hang on to this old situation that is no longer working and has become extremely painful and stressful for you because you still have some attachments to some energies that are still in it. And so your two clarifiers are inspiration and the pistil and stamen. The pistil and stamen card directly has to do with your sexuality and has to do with relationships, especially sexuality in relationships. It rules your root chakra in this. It's also the combination of Venus and Mars, the two lovers. So this is passion, like to the max, like you're extremely attracted to someone or someone is extremely attracted to you. You want to pursue this. You want to take action on this. This can also be internal fire, as in a longing to do something or having the passion and energy drives necessary in order to create something or put something into motion. And inspiration is obviously what inspires you. And this is the second temperance card you've got. In the past, you have temperance along with this new seed that you've been wanting to plant, which I see as being directly related to your Ace of Wands as what's helping you. And this is the Temperance card in this deck. So you have gotten 2 stars, 2 emperors, and 2 temperances. So I feel as though as long as you stay calm and optimistic and whatever you're going through, it feels almost as if it's a very hard pill to swallow or to digest and let go of. And so you're trying your best to stay optimistic and in the flow with this, where you're not going to extremes. But there may be some parts of your being that want to go to extremes with this, either to fight back or speak even louder in order to be heard, or something about yourself is being knocked off balance by this experience. But because you've done so much work already on self-mastery with how you behave, it may even be that you're trying to work out how to behave properly in the best possible way, but also not to suppress your dragon or your lion, but to transmute it into energy that you can use for other things. And maybe you're having an internal struggle or an internal battle going on with how you use your own energy or something to do with frustration in here. But I see you as working very hard on this in your surroundings with maintaining your composure and staying positive. And so if you can let go of your indecision and just decide, I'm getting specifically, you need to let go of whatever this is that you've been in. It may have, at one point, you may have believed that this could be worked out, but I'm not getting that this is able to be worked out. I'm getting that you just need to make the decision to let go of the old situation and move on towards this new journey or this new active period, which you will have plenty of energy and inspiration for and passion to go towards this and do it in the best possible way. If this has to do with a person, you may have a passion for a particular person. And there may be something about this situation that is making you feel undecided. But keep in mind here, no matter what this has to do with, if it has to do with relationships or a new relationship, a new job, a new passion, a new path in life, a new location, whatever this has to do with, remember that what is helping you is to go for it. So if you've been holding off on wanting to start a relationship with someone that you are extremely attracted to, you've been very good with staying calm about this and keeping your composure, but I feel as though you just need to make up your mind and go for it, because this passion isn't going away. Try not to let other people's opinions sway you on how you feel about somebody. It may be that other people are trying to kind of keep you away from this situation. As long as this situation is healthy, you should be listening to your own intuition in this matter, rather than anyone else's opinion about what you should be doing. So that's your surroundings. Your fear, obviously, is that the fighting is going to continue or the struggle is going to continue, whether it's external struggle or internal struggle. I'm kind of getting the feeling that it's both. And that's the reason why you have the devil, or initiation and acceptance with the star as your best possible outcome. Is you need to deal with this. You need to accept it and release it and let it go. Otherwise, this can continue to hold you back, or the anticipation of this is holding you back. Perhaps on some level you're so used to this energy that you're afraid it's going to come back, even if you do get rid of it this one time. And so if you do your inner work, you should be able to have this go stay at bay, where you won't have to deal with this in the future. But this is most definitely your fear here, is that this is going to continue. You don't know if you can really have this continue, because you're getting to the end of your rope here, where you're almost losing your composure. So your hopes are to get clear and to refine yourself. This is not a major arcana card. This is one of her minor arcana cards, which are not the same as most tarot decks. This is Easter Lily and has to do with Vesta, and it also has to do with devotion. Devotion to your purpose, devotion to what you're trying to do right now. This also has to do with focus, but most definitely it has to do with refinement. And so if you look really closely, she is holding a pearl in her hand. And what a pearl is in the clamshell or the oyster shell, when sand and impurities get in there, the internal fleshy bits are so sensitive and so soft that the sand or the impurities that get inside, manage to get inside the shell, hurt it. It hurts it. And so the clam or the oyster produces this mucousy type stuff to coat it with, and slowly coats it and coats it and coats it over and over and over again with the substance that is wrapped around the little tiny grain of sand that was cutting it and irritating it. And so it softens it and makes it smooth, where the poor clam or oyster can't get rid of it. It can't shoot it out of itself, but it can coat it where it, even though it's there, it doesn't hurt anymore. It's about taking impurities inside of ourselves, whether it's things like jealousy, anger, vengefulness, shame, anything that hurts, anything that irritates you, anything that aggravates you, and working on it and releasing it and purifying it, and slowly doing that to the point where it becomes a beautiful jewel that you can hold on to and almost carry with you as if it's a treasure. That experience becomes, the irritation becomes a treasure through the process of purifying something. Hopefully this is making sense to you and I'm explaining this okay. So I'm looking at acceptance of your shadow, or acceptance of the fact that you have parts of your nature that possibly want to lose your composure, or lose your dragon on people, or loose your lion on people, or concerning people like this, getting back at them, making them pay. Something like that, being angry at them for even thinking that they could get away with something like this, especially if this involves somebody who is manipulating loved ones of yours, or manipulating more innocent people around you that don't quite see it for what it is when you can see it. And so I'm feeling very strongly that you feel extremely frustrated about this, and you've been trying really hard to talk about it or to let it out. But perhaps because people aren't seeing it quite the way that you are, this is frustrating you even further. And so you have to delve deep within yourself to accept these parts of yourself that get irritated, that want to go off, that want to lose your composure, that want to get someone back, or it just gets angry. But by working with this and accepting this part of yourself and working on your composure and also acknowledging these things rather than trying to suppress them or pretend that you don't feel that way when you do, it actually ends up becoming a beautiful jewel. And it develops certain parts of yourself that can greatly aid you in the future with being able to follow your hopes and dreams, where now you'll have that under your belt, so to speak, to be able to rely on when you encounter future irritations. You'll know how to handle it better because of this process that you've been in. And also purifying certain aspects of yourself that honestly aren't that pretty, which we all have. We all have parts of ourselves that are like that. This is the reason why a lot of people can't face those things. But you're brave enough, Aries. You're brave enough to face those things. I know you are. You guys are warriors. So, speaking of warriors, your general outcome for October is your card, the Emperor. And you also have the Emperor in your challenged position, which I don't view the Emperor as being the challenge. I view this as being the challenge, and this is what you tried to do about it. You tried to communicate about what was happening, but perhaps you feel as though people aren't listening, or they just refuse to see what you see. Your intuition seems very strong in this reading, so perhaps you're seeing things that other people are just not wanting to believe about certain people, and that's making you feel extremely frustrated. And so your general outcome is you are fully yourself, and you know who you are, okay? You won't let anyone push you around. You won't let anyone try to make you feel less than who you are. You know what your worth is, and you know how to get things done. And you know how to stabilize things too. So if you can't stabilize things with this old situation that looks really frustrating and painful, then it's time for you to start something new. And drop the old crap so that you can fully stand in your power and feel as though you can fully be yourself without having to be pressured by internal forces or external forces to lose your composure. When you are at your best, you are fully composed and you are able to do your thing. You are able to be a good authority for other people, where you also acknowledge other people's authority as well. And so your clarifier to go with this makes perfect sense. This is a card that is called Inner Calm. And it's also about expectant gratitude. If you notice, there's a white buffalo behind her. And her flower in this card is white clover, which cows love clover. And clover is very grounding. And, well, buffalo energy in general is a very calm, grounding force. And it's all about expecting good things and then receiving good things because you stayed calm and you stayed positive, which is reminding me of the fact that you have 2 temperance cards in here. You have been doing a lot of work, you guys, on staying calm, staying grounded, allowing these situations, even though parts of yourself have felt as though, like, when you're looking at an old-fashioned thermometer and the red goes all the way up to the top and you think you're going to explode, you kept yourself from exploding. Good for you. You've done a lot of work, you guys. And so, yes, you have mastered this, or you are this now. If you can embrace your new beginning and let go of whatever this difficult situation is, and you stay calm and believe in your own abilities, you can manifest anything. And you can expect this new beginning that you're starting to grow very quickly, and you'll have enough energy to create this thing or go after this thing. You'll have enough strength to know what you want, and you'll be able to manifest it and have long-standing results from this that are prosperous or that just make you feel comfortable and happy. This is reminding me of the seed, which is ruled by Saturn. This is some new beginning that you want to do that may be very long-lasting, a long-lasting situation. So be strong in yourself. And your two outcomes are the Emperor, which is your general outcome, and the Star, which is your best possible outcome. So stay strong, have faith, have optimism, believe in yourself and your capabilities, and get started with this new beginning, whatever it is. It looks like something you're extremely passionate about, whether it's a relationship or some project or something you're trying to manifest. So hopefully that helped or at least made sense, and I will see you soon. Happy Halloween, you guys.